Now it's easy enough to get a domain online. And for software engineering, the job now generally requires AI, which is an expense, and the expense is more than a domain costs. So now, generally, it is expected that software engineers would have a domain online and it would be performant and somewhat aesthetically pleasing, and also relevant for a modern context. If you make videos, then you can transcribe them with Gemini and turn those into blog posts. And I would recommend making videos or practicing this medium, and also learning which people find which topics relevant, and then being able to communicate with them. Now my sites are online, and I can describe the things that I'm updating about them and the relationship that I want to have with their core audiences. For example, Squashy.com is a progressive web application that can be installed, and I'd rather update the favicon and the app icon to make that more relevant for my ecosystem, more of an homage to previous designs, and also start considering how I can update lore.land, which I've been teasing for a while. The reason that I've been teasing the release of lore.land is so people know to expect updates. Otherwise, it will be updated and no one will notice because they haven't seen each version. So right now, someone can visit lore.land and wonder about the layout and wonder how I can make it more interactive or aesthetically pleasing. And you can also visit squashy.com and compare the designs and see how the ecosystem is starting to develop. I've been a software engineer for 15 years and I'm applying to principal and staff and senior software engineering roles. And I'm describing this on TikTok and YouTube and X and LinkedIn. You can copy this, and part of what I recommend is that you spend a few years posting on TikTok. I recommend practicing making short form content and also practicing making videos that you can summarize with Gemini and being able to describe your relationship with data while also describing a relationship with spiritual hygiene, whatever that means for you. So as I develop Swoop and as I develop Squashy.com, I'm going to start pivoting my content towards network relationships. There was a runtime that I was interested in working with, and let's just say it might be a red flag if someone has a bad relationship with the open source community. Although, I guess there are different pools of drama, and I want to be mindful of the ways that I relate to those. So, um, I advocate for contributions to open source and wisdom about where tense moments can arise, and also hope for a better engineering culture and hope to describe that with the ways that I relate. Software engineering companies can support authors if they have a relationship with BookTok, and they would need to have an intimate relationship with BookTok, and it would need to understand how to not be exploitative, which feels like a lot to ask of modern software engineering. Oh no, actually, I have hope for modern software engineering to recognize the patterns and adjust towards a more equitable future. And I can say that I have seen a lot of development towards this. And I am working towards describing ways that we can build towards that. My plan is to ask Gemini to summarize these videos and reflect on the ways that I can make my websites more descriptive of a modern paradigm for interaction, and also start to describe how authors can consider developing their websites to tell a story that way too. And also start developing more of the workbench and reflect on how I can communicate where those updates develop. And also how I'm relating to experience design, interaction design, etc. Hire me for web development, hire me for software engineering. Financial support in the short term would be very helpful, and in the long term, I am looking to go to grad school. So that's why I'm exploring publishing and relationship to language and cognitive systems. Stay tuned if that's interesting to you. Cheers.